Business meeting. It is October 29th, 2024. The time is 2 p.m. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Matari, and Duncan. Would you join us for a moment of silence, please? Okay, thank you. And Lieutenant Howard, would you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Changes to the agenda. Okay. I know that item 12 needs to be pulled. There's some backup documentation that we need a resolution and a publication before we can handle that item. And then I would recommend that item 21 also be pulled so we can get the ownership cleared up.
12 is fine.
All right. Public comment. Okay, hearing none. Meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes, items 1 and 2.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Dunn.
Aye. Consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar, items 3 through 10.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. Payables.
I move that we approve payables for October 21 through 25, 2024 in the amount of $724,679.64 with no jury panel payments.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. Item 13, this is a group insurance amendment. It's with Standard Insurance Company, and it's for the short-term disability, and it goes from voluntary employee paid to county paid benefit with our Human Resources and CK.
Good afternoon, C.K. Kirkpatrick for the record. We have before you an amendment to the standard contract to change the short-term disability from an employee paid program to a county paid program.
All right. Questions, motion?
I move that we approve the group insurance amendment, Standard Insurance Company with short-term disability from voluntary employee paid to county paid benefit with Human Resources.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. Item 14, board approval request, and this is the reclassification and consolidation of 2 positions within our community development office. And we had spoke this morning about kind of why we're doing it. And this is a formality based on our new standard operating procedure to move this item forward for HR to actually do the reclassification, then the result to be brought back to an HR meeting. So questions, motion?
I move that we approve the request to reclassify and consolidate 2 positions at Community Development.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 15, board approval request. This is the annual Idaho Transportation Department Office of Highway Safety, their fiscal year 25 traffic enforcement grant project agreement. And Lieutenant Howard.
Lieutenant Howard, Kootenai County Sheriff's Office. Thank you. I'm just looking for approval to move forward with this grant agreement with ITD and Office of Highway Safety. This agreement allows us to apply for grants through ITD and the Office of Highway Safety so that we can get equipment, overtime, and training through ITD. And this will allow us to apply for those grants.
All right, how long have we been doing this? How long has your office been?
At least a decade.
Okay,
So every
perfect.
year.
Thank you. Questions, motion?
I move that we approve the request for the annual Idaho Transportation Department Office of Highway Safety FFY 2025 Traffic Enforcement Grant Project Agreement with the Sheriff's Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 16. This is board approval request to purchase 10 vehicles, and these were previously approved patrol vehicles, and this is just because I believe they're ready to be delivered. Lieutenant Klinkafus, are you on the line?
Yes, ma'am. As you said, these were previously ordered. They've now arrived at PBI, so we're just asking for payment to be processed. I believe the amount is $452,610 for the 10 Ford Explorers.
Great. Questions, motion?
I move that we approve the request to purchase the 10 previously approved patrol vehicles with the Sheriff's Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 17, board approval request, and this is Q3 2024 Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds Project and Expenditure Report with our Prosecuting Attorney Civil Division. And Caitlin Smith, are you, oh, you're right in person, perfect.
Good afternoon. I am requesting the board's approval to submit the provided ARPA quarterly report to the Treasury. The report has been reviewed and reconciled by the Auditor's Office.
All right, questions, motion?
Just one question. Should we not update the staff that's on this report because there is someone that's no longer with the county?
It has been updated last quarter.
Okay, because I still see their name listed as a point of contact. It's page 168 of our document.
That's very odd. I can look into that after this meeting.
Yeah, if you would. So we probably want to make sure we have the correct contacts.
I'll work with the
in this
Auditor's Office
document.
and make sure it's correct.
Thank you. I move that we approve the board request for Q3 2024 Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds Project and Expenditure Report with the Prosecuting Attorney Civil Office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye, thank you. Okay, item 18, this is an amendment to renew a memorandum of understanding with the United States Forest Service for temporary morgue with the Forest Service and Kootenai County, and then OEM. So Sarah or Tiffany, are you on the line?
Yep, this is Sarah Long for the record. So this is an amendment to extend the expiration date for the original MOU that Kootenai County has with the Forest Service Nursery to use the nursery as a temporary morgue under a disaster declaration. Essentially, this is just to renew the existing agreement, so I'm asking the board for the approval of the amendment.
Okay, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the amendment to renew the MOU with the United States Forest Service for temporary morgue with the United States Forest Service and Kootenai County and the Office of Emergency Management.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 19, this is a memorandum of understanding, and this is for a temporary morgue management, and this again is with the United States Forest Service, the tree and nursery facility, and our coroner's office. Chief Deputy Lynn Acevedo, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you for this. This is just an amendment to the MOU that was just previously re-upped, just to make it so that we don't have to declare a disaster and we can open it in cases of exigent circumstances, which we ran into a couple of months ago and found ourselves needing services.
Okay, and I think it's okay to keep these separate. We had talked about combining them for next year, but I think that they're pretty much two different uses, so I think keeping them separate is probably prudent.
Yes, that's fine with me.
Okay. All right, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the MOU for the temporary morgue management with the United States Forest Service, tree nursery facility, and the coroner's office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right, item 20, this is a memorandum of agreement, and this is with our Aquifer Protection District and the Board of County Commissioners with Idaho Department of Environmental Quality, IDEQ. And Nisha Mayani, are you on the line? Chair Mayani, are you on the line? She might not have made it. Pat, did you want to handle this for them? Thank you.
Pat Braden, Civil Deputy Prosecutor for the record. This is an MOU with the Idaho Department of Environmental Quality, which basically lays out the things that they do with the money the Aquifer Protection District provides them each year. So they don't have to make a separate request every year other than just the amount of funds that they're requesting. This is a very similar MOU to the one with Panhandle Health District that this board adopted fairly recently, so I'd ask for your approval.
All right, questions, motion?
I move that we approve the memorandum of agreement with the Aquifer Protection District, Board of Commissioners, Idaho Department of Environmental Quality.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Dunn.
Aye. All right, item 21, board approval request. This is a grant of easement, Party of Thornton, AIN 122357, and the BOCC. Commissioner Matari.
Yeah, this had my name on it, but this is something that Pat Braden had brought up last week to talk about. We made some amendments to it. The only thing that was really brought to our attention is that there is some question about the ownership history. And from my understanding, if this is a property that is owned by the county, we should just include the contingency that it might not, and that it would be the grant of easement would be irrelevant at that point. Is that correct, Pat?
That would be correct. And if the board were to approve this contingent on confirmation of ownership of the property by the county, the board would not be able to record that document until that confirmation occurs.
So I do have a couple of questions. With this easement, can they build a road on this property? Can they log the property? Can they park vehicles on the property?
They could, yes, they could do that. The purpose of the easement is to provide ingress and egress. And so that would give them ability to build a driveway essentially on the over that property and to include logging for that purpose.
Okay, so they could log it and then build a road on it?
Yes.
Okay. And that would be without county approval, as far as they'd have permission to do that? They wouldn't have to come back and say, here's where we would like to put the road, here's where we'd like to do this?
Yeah, that's not they don't need wouldn't need any further approval from the board if this is signed and recorded.
Okay. So if I may ask the Thorntons a couple questions, you can just use your microphone right there. You have to push the button, sorry. Thank you. Okay. So I see that you have two properties next to each other, and one does have highway access off of Highway 54. So what is the reason that you need to go over the county or the perceived county property? We don't actually know if we own it yet, for an easement when you have access.
The current access we have from Highway 54 is for the I believe it's 7.5 acres, and it's a narrower piece of property and was never really designed the way that it is set up to have a good access. And where this particular 5 acres is on the back part of the property, it's a logical thing to have access from the back rather than the front, because we really don't have anywhere that it would work sufficiently through our property at this point.
Have you contacted the National Forest Service yet?
We
or
have
the
not.
National Parks? Sorry, National Park Service.
We have not contacted the National Park System yet. That's on our list of things to do.
Okay.
As well.
Okay. So then at this point, then I would recommend that we don't vote on this today, that we wait until the National Park Service gives permission, and then by then we'll find out what the title situation is for the county.
Okay, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Do we have paperwork with the park or with Kootenai County Parks or that shows a point of contact with the National Parks Commission? If that's the case, then we would just, if possible, to just grant the easement at this time. That would be a huge bonus for us, and we would appreciate the county being able to do that, with knowing that we have due diligence to follow up.
Sure.
Commissioners, I do have the contact information for the National Park Service, and I'd be happy to provide it to them.
That would be awesome.
I do have one question. We keep talking about national parks, and I don't see anything on the county maps that shows that belongs to national parks.
The property we're talking about today does not. It is you have to go through the National Parks Trail,
right,
which is a recreation trail in order to get.
About.
We've never seen anything that
I
shows
have your maps here.
Uh-huh.
And those maps do not show national parks. They show Kootenai County Parks and Recreation ownership.
Yeah,
It's the conditions of in the conditions of the deed that granted the property from the federal government to the county back in the 1990s, I think, early 2000s.
When they turned
So it is in the county record. It may not be on the maps because the National Park Service doesn't actually own the property, but those are the reason they have to approve it is because of the terms and conditions the federal government put on it when it granted the property to the county.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, and any help you could give us on point of contact, that would be great. We would both implore the county to still go ahead and vote on approval for the easement if that is what you so choose to do.
I have a couple questions.
Certainly.
Do you plan on logging and running logs through the property? Okay.
We do not.
All right. And you are aware that the National Park Service would have to grant an easement for you to go back there and drive through. So that if they don't do that, then the easement would be moot in essence for this property in question. And if this property were made available, is this something that you would consider buying so we could actually get it back on the property tax rolls?
I think that would be a great thing if that would be something that could be worked out. That would be great. That would be to me, it would be a bonus for the county rather than, because then you'd at least be collecting taxes on it.
It's a logical addition to our property.
Okay.
So that would be up to you guys to make that decision.
Oh, we got to find out about the title
I also I didn't mean to interrupt, but just as another alternative besides the National Park Service, there is if the easement were to be granted or the property sold, assuming we owned it and had the ability to do that, there is also a private property immediately to the east that between the property in question and Caravel Road. So that could be another alternative to requesting permission from the National Park Service. So I just wanted to get that out on the record in public. I don't know how viable that is. I'm just noting that that's a possibility.
Okay.
Well, and we appreciate that. Thank you for that thought.
Okay. Commissioner Brooks, do you have any questions?
No, I would just very simply grant it contingent upon what we may find out down the road.
Okay. I move that we approve the request for the grant easement for Thornton AIN 122357 with the BOCC contingent on county ownership being established for that particular lot.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Nay. All right, public comment. Public comment? Okay, hearing none, 2:19, meeting adjourned.